Men and men in relationships. Let's talk about it. So Claressa Shields spent Christmas alone this year. And not only did she spend Christmas alone, she didn't even have a gift to open on Christmas from Papoose. But you know who did have a gift to open in Papoose on Christmas? Remy Ma, his wife. Why? Because they still have a family. See, word on the street is Remy and Papoose is working on getting back together. And the sad thing about it is Claressa has been doing so much to prove that this man loves her. It's just showing how much he loves her.
The internet is buzzing tonight as new reports spark intense speculation about the future of one of hip-hop's most talked-about marriages. According to circulating stories, Papoose has allegedly reached a breaking point, with claims suggesting he is considering divorce from Remy Ma while quietly planning a future with boxing star Claressa Shields. Fans are shocked as these reports spread across social media, blurring the line between rumor and reality and pulling everyone into a storm of questions, reactions, and emotional debates.
I just want to know, is this okay? Y'all, did y'all just see when Claressa Shields was in the LV store? Bought the bags. Then she go home to make it seem like Papoose got it for her for Christmas. She literally was just in the store, sitting down, counting her money, posting the receipts. Can somebody check on her to make sure she okay?
While nothing has been confirmed, the narrative being shared online paints a picture of tension building behind closed doors. Whispers claim that long-standing issues, unspoken frustrations, and emotional distance may have finally boiled over. Emotions ran high as fans began revisiting old interviews, social media posts, and public appearances, searching for clues that this marriage may have been cracking long before these reports surfaced. Some are asking how a relationship once praised for loyalty and sacrifice could suddenly be facing such dramatic claims. The mention of Claressa Shields has only intensified the drama. According to online chatter, her name entering the conversation shifted everything, transforming quiet speculation into a full-blown controversy. Fans are shocked by the idea that a new romance could be forming while an old one allegedly falls apart. Comments flooded timelines, with some expressing disbelief, others anger, and many simply trying to understand how these reports even began. Reports also suggest that those close to the situation are feeling the pressure. The family was left divided, at least according to online narratives, with friends and supporters allegedly choosing sides or urging silence. Every alleged detail added fuel to the fire, making the story feel bigger with each passing hour. As the reports continue to circulate, one question dominates the conversation. Is this the end of a powerful hip-hop partnership, or just another exaggerated rumor caught in the social media spotlight? Fans are watching closely, emotions ran high, and the stage is set for a story that has everyone waiting for what comes next. As the reports continue to circulate, the story being painted online suggested that the tension between Papoose and Remy Ma had been building quietly for a long time. According to these narratives, what fans once saw as a solid and unbreakable partnership was allegedly hiding layers of unresolved conflict. People close to the situation were described as noticing subtle changes, missed appearances together, colder interactions, and a shift in energy that could no longer be ignored. Fans are shocked as these reports frame the marriage as one strained by pressure, expectations, and emotional fatigue rather than a sudden collapse. The online chatter claims that behind closed doors, conversations had allegedly turned heavy and repetitive. Whispers described long nights filled with arguments about priorities, loyalty, and feeling unheard. One alleged exchange described Papoose saying, "I gave everything to hold this together, but I feel like I am disappearing," while Remy Ma was portrayed as responding with frustration, insisting that she felt equally misunderstood. Emotions ran high in these imagined moments as fans pictured a relationship weighed down by years of sacrifice and public scrutiny. Reports also suggested that fame and individual ambition played a role in widening the gap. According to these stories, both individuals were navigating personal growth and career pressures that allegedly pulled them in different directions. Fans revisited old interviews where each spoke about independence, strength, and personal identity, now interpreting those words through a different lens. Fans are shocked by how quickly admiration turned into speculation, as every past statement was re-examined for hidden meaning. The narrative pushed by gossip pages emphasized that the household environment had allegedly become tense. Stories described silence replacing affection and routine conversations turning into emotional standoffs. According to reports, friends who once celebrated their bond now felt awkward around them. Sensing the strain but unsure how to intervene, the family was left divided in these accounts, with some relatives urging patience and others quietly preparing for the possibility of separation. As the rumors grew louder, Claressa Shields' name began appearing more frequently in online discussions. The reports did not claim certainty, but suggested that her presence represented a turning point in the narrative. Fans are shocked that someone outside the hip-hop world was suddenly linked to such a personal situation. Online chatter framed her as a symbol of something new and different rather than the cause itself, suggesting that Papoose may have been drawn to the idea of starting fresh emotionally. According to these circulating stories, the connection between Papoose and Claressa Shields was portrayed as rooted in mutual respect and shared discipline. Fans speculated that conversations about ambition, resilience, and focus may have created a sense of understanding that felt absent elsewhere. Emotions ran high as people debated whether emotional connection alone could justify such dramatic claims. Some defended the idea of personal happiness, while others accused the narrative of disrespecting a long-standing marriage. Remy Ma's alleged reaction, as described by these reports, added another layer of tension. She was portrayed as hurt, angry, and deeply disappointed by the rumors spreading unchecked. One alleged comment shared by gossip blogs claimed she told a confidant, "They are writing my life for clicks," highlighting the emotional toll these narratives were said to have taken. Fans are shocked as this portrayal suggested a woman fighting not only marital strain, but also public judgment. The reports emphasized that silence from all sides only fueled speculation. Without direct statements, fans filled the gaps with assumptions, theories, and emotional projections. Every social media post, lyric reference, or public appearance was treated as evidence by eager audiences. Emotions ran high as supporters argued in comment sections, some insisting the marriage could still be repaired, others convinced that the damage was already done, according to the online narrative. This stage of the story was less about clear decisions and more about emotional limbo. Papoose was portrayed as torn between loyalty to a shared history and the desire for personal peace. Remy Ma was framed as standing at the intersection of pride, pain, and self-preservation. Fans are shocked by how vulnerable these portrayals felt, even as they remained unverified by the time these reports had fully taken hold. The story had evolved into a complex emotional drama rather than a simple rumor. Relationships, identity, and personal fulfillment were all placed under a microscope. Fans were left debating not just what might be happening, but what it all meant. Emotions ran high as the narrative continued to grow, pulling more voices into the conversation and setting the stage for even deeper speculation about how these alleged tensions could reshape lives, bonds, and public perception as the reports continued to gain traction. The online narrative began shifting from quiet tension to what many described as an emotional standoff. According to circulating stories, the distance between Papoose and Remy Ma allegedly became harder to hide, with friends noticing a lack of warmth and an increase in guarded behavior. Fans are shocked as gossip pages painted scenes of strained interactions where even simple conversations allegedly carried emotional weight. The image of a once united front was slowly replaced with speculation about two people moving through the same space but no longer aligned. Reports suggested that disagreements were no longer just about schedules or careers, but deeper issues. tied to trust, appreciation, and identity. One alleged exchange shared online described Papoose saying, "I stood strong when everything was against us, but now I feel alone in this." While Remy Ma was portrayed as responding with tears and frustration, insisting that her own sacrifices were being overlooked. Emotions ran high in these imagined moments, and fans debated whether such conflicts were inevitable in long-term relationships under constant public pressure. The role of public opinion became a major factor in these narratives. According to reports, Remy Ma was said to feel especially wounded by how quickly fans turned speculation into judgment. Posts claimed she struggled with seeing her marriage discussed like a storyline rather than a real emotional bond. Supporters allegedly reached out privately, encouraging her to ignore the noise, while critics questioned her silence. Fans are shocked by how quickly empathy and criticism collided in comment sections. At the same time, the reports framed Papoose as emotionally conflicted rather than cold. Gossip blogs suggested he was grappling with guilt, loyalty, and the fear of repeating past mistakes. One alleged quote circulating online had him saying, "I don't want to be the villain in a story I lived with my whole heart." Emotions ran high as fans imagined the internal struggle between staying committed to a shared history and acknowledging personal unhappiness. The narrative surrounding Claressa Shields grew more complex during this stage. According to online chatter, she was portrayed less as a romantic instigator and more as a presence that symbolized clarity and emotional support. Fans speculated that conversations between her and Papoose may have been rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Rather than immediate romance, fans are shocked by how quickly her name became central to the story. Even though no direct confirmation existed, reports also claimed that Claressa Shields herself was uncomfortable with the attention. Some posts suggested she was frustrated by being inserted into a deeply personal situation and wanted no part in destroying a marriage. Alleged messages described her saying, "I didn't ask to be written into someone else's pain," adding another emotional layer to the unfolding drama. Emotions ran high as fans debated whether the narrative was unfairly projecting motives onto her family reactions. According to circulating stories, intensified the tension. Relatives on both sides were described as divided, with some urging reconciliation and others encouraging emotional honesty at any cost. The family was left divided as these reports suggested private conversations filled with concern, disappointment, and conflicting advice. Fans are shocked as these portrayals emphasize that the alleged fallout extended far beyond the couple themselves. The pressure reportedly affected daily routines as well. Gossip pages described moments of silence, separate schedules, and emotional withdrawal that allegedly made the situation impossible to ignore. Friends were portrayed as walking on eggshells, unsure which version of the story to believe. Emotions ran high as fans imagined the weight of living under constant speculation, where every action could be misinterpreted. Social media activity became a focal point for interpretation. A vague post, a missing photo, or a liked comment was treated as confirmation by some fans. Others argued that reading into online behavior was unfair and misleading. Fans are shocked by how digital breadcrumbs were turned into evidence, fueling arguments and emotional debates across platforms, according to the narrative being shared. This phase marked a turning point where denial gave way to uncomfortable acknowledgement. The marriage was no longer framed as simply misunderstood, but as allegedly standing at a crossroads. Papoose was portrayed as questioning whether staying silent was protecting anyone, while Remy Ma was framed as weighing dignity against the need to defend herself publicly. Emotions ran high as fans took sides, projecting their own experiences onto the situation. By the end of this stage, reports painted a picture of emotional exhaustion on all sides. Love, loyalty, and self-preservation were described as colliding forces, leaving no easy answers. Fans are shocked by how layered and painful the story had become, even as it remained unconfirmed. The narrative continued to evolve, driven by emotion, speculation, and the powerful pull of watching a once-admired relationship appear to unravel under the weight of rumor and expectation. As the reports kept circulating, the narrative took on a more intense emotional tone, with gossip pages describing what they called a breaking point in the relationship. According to these stories, Papoose was allegedly feeling trapped between public loyalty and private truth. Fans are shocked as posts claimed he began opening up to a smaller circle, expressing exhaustion from carrying expectations that no longer matched his emotional reality. One alleged conversation described him saying, "I don't know who I am anymore outside of being strong for everyone else," a line that resonated deeply with fans who saw him as a symbol of unwavering support for years. Emotions ran high as people debated whether strength sometimes becomes a burden rather than a virtue. Remy Ma, according to the same circulating narratives, was portrayed as feeling blindsided by how quickly the public story shifted. Reports suggested she felt her identity as a wife, artist, and individual was being reduced to rumors and assumptions. One alleged moment shared online described her saying to a friend, "They talk about my marriage like it belongs to them," highlighting the frustration being attributed to her. Fans are shocked by this portrayal, seeing a woman caught between defending her truth and preserving her dignity amid relentless speculation. The emotional gap between them, as framed by these reports, appeared to widen further. Gossip blogs described long pauses in communication, with both sides allegedly avoiding conversations that might lead to irreversible decisions. Silence was portrayed as louder than arguments, creating an atmosphere where every unspoken word carried weight. Emotions ran high as fans imagined the strain of living with unresolved tension, knowing that any choice could permanently alter their shared history. Claressa Shields' alleged role in the narrative evolved again during this phase. According to online chatter, she was described as becoming more distant from the situation as the backlash grew. Some reports claim she was uncomfortable being discussed as a future spouse when nothing had been publicly acknowledged. Alleged messages suggested she valued focus, discipline, and clarity, and did not want to be seen as a distraction or a villain. Fans are shocked by how these narratives framed her as both central to speculation and powerless to control it. The public response continued to fracture. Some fans openly supported Papoose, arguing that personal happiness should not be sacrificed for image alone. Others stood firmly behind Remy Ma, pointing to years of loyalty and shared struggle as proof that the marriage deserved protection. The family was left divided in these discussions, at least emotionally, as supporters on both sides clashed in comment sections. Emotions ran high as strangers argued passionately over a relationship they only knew through screens and stories.media. Personalities and bloggers, according to reports, further fueled the drama by revisiting past interviews and lyrics. Old statements about loyalty, forgiveness, and resilience were replayed and reinterpreted as foreshadowing. Fans dissected tone, body language, and timing, turning memories into evidence. Fans are shocked at how quickly history was rewritten through the lens of current rumors, transforming moments of love into signs of unresolved conflict behind the scenes. The reports suggested that practical realities were also weighing heavily. Shared finances, family ties, and public branding were described as complicating any potential decision. Gossip pages speculated that neither side wanted to act impulsively, knowing the ripple effects would be enormous. Emotions ran high as fans imagine the pressure of making life-changing choices under constant observation, where even hesitation could be judged harshly. Remy Ma's alleged inner conflict was described as especially painful. Reports framed her as torn between fighting for her marriage and protecting her sense of self. One alleged line circulating online claimed she said, "I won't beg to be chosen," a statement that sparked intense reactions. Fans are shocked by how strongly this sentiment resonated, with many interpreting it as a declaration of independence rather than surrender. Papoose, meanwhile, was portrayed as grappling with guilt and fear of public backlash. According to the narrative, he worried about being seen as abandoning a shared legacy rather than honoring his own truth. Alleged conversations suggested he questioned whether staying out of obligation would eventually turn into resentment. Emotions. Ran High's fans debated whether honesty, even when painful, might be kinder than silent endurance. As this phase of the story unfolded, the alleged situation felt heavier and more complex. There were no clear villains or heroes, only people described as struggling under emotional weight and public pressure. Fans are shocked by how human the story felt, even as it remained unverified. Love, loyalty, and self-respect were all placed in conflict, creating a narrative that felt less like gossip and more like a reflection of real emotional dilemmas faced by many. The reports continued to circulate, leaving audiences emotionally invested and waiting to see whether clarity, reconciliation, or complete separation would define the next chapter of this unfolding drama. As the reports reached their most intense stage, the online narrative painted a picture of emotional reckoning rather than sudden decisions. According to circulating stories, both Papoose and Remy Ma were allegedly forced to confront truths they had avoided for years. Fans are shocked, as gossip pages describe moments of quiet realization where anger gave way to fatigue and reflection. The drama was no longer framed as explosive arguments alone, but as a slow unraveling shaped by pressure, expectations. If the weight of a shared history that could not be ignored, reports suggested that final conversations, while still unconfirmed, were portrayed as calmer yet heavier. The imagined tone shifted from accusation to honesty, with alleged exchanges focusing on what was lost rather than who was to blame. One alleged moment described Papoose saying, "I don't want to hurt you, but I can't keep pretending I'm okay," while Remy Ma was portrayed as responding with controlled pain, acknowledging that love alone might not heal everything. Emotions ran high as fans reacted to these portrayals, seeing maturity mixed with heartbreak rather than chaos. The family was left divided in the way these stories were told. Some relatives were described as urging reconciliation, believing that years of loyalty deserved one last effort. Others were portrayed as quietly supporting separation, arguing that prolonged emotional strain benefits no one. Fans are shocked by how these narratives emphasize generational opinions, cultural expectations, and differing views on marriage and self-fulfillment. Private advice, according to reports, came just as influential as public opinion. Claressa Shields' name continued to surface, but the tone around her shifted again. Reports suggested that she was increasingly determined to remain focused on her own path, distancing herself from the noise. Alleged comments framed her as uninterested in drama, valuing discipline and clarity over chaos. Fans debated whether her presence symbolized a new beginning or simply highlighted existing cracks. Emotions ran high as people argued over whether it was fair to attach her future to someone else's unresolved past. The public response reached a strange balance of exhaustion and obsession. While some fans expressed fatigue from constant speculation, others remained deeply invested, refreshing timelines for updates. Content creators continued analyzing every gesture, silence, and indirect post. Fans are shocked by how the story evolved into a collective emotional experience, where strangers projected their own heartbreaks, hopes, and fears onto the narrative. Reports also emphasized the emotional cost of living under constant observation. Both individuals were portrayed as struggling with the loss of privacy, where even healing became public entertainment. Alleged sources described moments of withdrawal, reflection, and the need to disconnect from online noise. Emotions ran high, as fans acknowledged the cruelty of rumor culture, even while participating in it. The narrative began framing the situation less as scandal and more as a crossroads. According to these stories, no dramatic announcement was necessary to feel the shift. Sometimes change arrived quietly through acceptance rather than confrontation. Fans are shocked by how this portrayal contrasted with the explosive headlines. suggesting that real endings often happen without spectacle. By this point, the alleged story was filled with unanswered questions rather than shocking twists. Would the marriage find renewal through honesty, or would separation offer peace that staying could not? Would public opinion soften, or would judgment linger regardless of outcome? Emotions ran high as viewers debated these possibilities. Recognizing that not every story has a clean resolution, the reports ultimately painted a picture of two people navigating a deeply personal moment under an unforgiving spotlight. Love, loyalty, and growth were all tested with no clear winner and no simple ending. Fans are shocked by how real the emotions felt, even as the details remained unverified. As the story continued to circulate, it became a reflection of modern relationships played out in public spaces. The drama was not just about divorce or new beginnings, but about identity, sacrifice, and the courage to choose honesty over comfort. Emotions ran high as the narrative settled into uncertainty, leaving fans watching closely, knowing that whatever the truth may be, its impact would be felt long after the rumors faded. After hearing all these circulating reports and emotional narratives surrounding Papoose, Remy Ma, and Claressa Shields, one thing is clear. This story has struck a nerve with fans everywhere. Emotions ran high, fans are shocked, and opinions are deeply divided. With no confirmed answers and plenty of unanswered questions still hanging in the air. What started as online whispers has turned into a conversation about love, loyalty, and personal truth under the public spotlight. Now it is your turn to be part of that conversation. What do you think about these reports and the way this situation is being portrayed online? Do you believe this marriage is truly at a breaking point? Or do you think these rumors are being exaggerated for attention? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let others know where you stand, because your opinion adds another layer to this ongoing discussion. If you want to stay updated on the latest celebrity stories, dramatic headlines, and trending entertainment news, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Share this video with friends who follow celebrity drama closely and enjoy breaking down every twist and reaction. Remember, these are still just reports and online narratives, not confirmed facts. But the emotions, questions, and debates they spark are very real. Stay tuned, stay curious, and keep the conversation going as we continue to follow the stories everyone is talking about.